CNBC-TV18, Adobe present Experience Makers.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the special podcast of Adobe and CNBC-TV18 present Experience Makers. I'm Paramita Chatterjee, and today we'll delve deeper into the evolution of marketing as a revenue driver. Indeed, the world has completely changed when it comes to marketing, given the advent of digitization and the data-driven strategies that all brands and companies are looking to harness in today's new age world. And to discuss the possibilities as well as the challenges, and of course, how companies can really maximize on revenue when it comes to utilizing these new age solutions, we have with us on the show today Yati Himmat Singha, who's the Associate Vice President, Marketing at Infogain, and Sandeep Jain, Sales Director at Adobe India. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of Adobe Experience Makers. So I gave a sort of a very basic and, a layperson's introduction to what marketing and how it has dramatically changed, if I may say so, in this new digital arena. So, Yati, let me start with you and give us a sense of, first of all, what exactly is Infogain's expertise and how do you help companies sort of navigate this new domain and really, given the kind of new media channels that we have. It's not just print, television, you've got these modern digital channels. So tell us a little bit about how this new world really presents itself in terms of opportunities and challenges.
Sure. Interesting. Okay, let me begin with just talking a little bit about Infogain. Now, we are a digital first company. We are building human-centered digital platforms for businesses which are looking to go from an analog or to a digital sort of a ecosystem. We work on systems that are front-facing and experience-facing. They're actually built to interact with our customers. And these are all of the revenue-generating systems that companies have. And we're looking at ways and means in which we can provide better experiences in the front end for customers to interact with. In terms of what we're doing to do this better, how we position ourselves and how we sort of look at our customers and their needs is based on sort of categories around, whether it's customer acquisition, customer retention, customer upsell and cross-sell. The entire life cycle of a customer is what we're looking at. So on a day-to-day basis, we are interacting or humans and end up interacting with tons and tons of brands, but it is key to understand which are the ones that are the best for them and which are the ones which can be present in front of them the most, right? Traditional media has a big role to play. It's the age of hyper personalization today. If we look at everything that is traditional media for us, be it print or television, they're still relevant. They're very relevant because you still have to have that mass appeal and be able to get those big eyeballs around. But on a day-to-day basis, within subsets of your user groups, we are building personas which can really capture what their individual needs are, and then be able to serve them products, to serve them ads, and serve them offers which will entice them to buy products. In a nutshell, we'll look. It's all about how close you can get to your customer, and with the advent of smartphones and interactive internet and whatnot, it's become much easier. You're carrying it around with you all day. So be it an Instagram that you're doing for 5 minutes, or if you're searching on Google for something, that the next ad that you'll see will be relevant to you because that's what you're looking for. That's this whole ecosystem is all about creating and mapping user journeys, getting enough and more touch points between them to be able to really capture the attention of your audience. So that's
why I think you've laid out the gamut for us, and it's good to know that television and print is still relevant since many of us, including myself, started our careers in that space. But Sandeep, let me come across to you, and we got a sense of the landscape and all the various opportunities, and of course, it's a bewildering array. Now, share with us Adobe's role in this new world, especially given the evolution of marketing channels and tracking user interest, for instance. What are those solutions that Adobe offers in order to help companies navigate this space?
Sure. That's actually a very interesting point, Paramita. And I've had the privilege of witnessing the marketing landscape undergo a seismic shift, right? Like gone are the days when one size fits all campaigns. Today customers are bombarded with content across the entire ecosystem of channels, social media, streaming platforms, mobile apps, what have you, right? Now, and the digital tapestry is even richer. Mobile reigns supreme. Attention spans are getting smaller. They're fleeting. Personalized experiences are what we call the holy grail. And marketers are simply grappling with multi-screen, multi-touch point reality. So, how does Adobe help in this? Excellent question. I'll just give you first. I'll just give you 3 points, and then I'll delve more into that. We unify data across channels. We personalize every interaction, and then optimize the campaigns in real time, right? So basically, we have our customer experience management platform, which breaks down silos, gathers customer data from every touch point, and presents a single unified view. Uh, and then we have our AI, our machine learning, etc., which empowers the analytics, the target, and that enables us to deliver individualized experience, which resonate with each customer's unique needs and preferences. Finally, for the real-time campaigns which are optimized, we have solutions that can track campaign performance in real time, identify what's working, what's not, and then readjust on the fly. So let me basically give you a few more points. There's advanced analytics. Adobe Analytics goes beyond clicks and conversations. It delves into behavior, sentiment, and intent, right? Predictive insights, which are powered by AI. Uh, the user needs recommended personalization content, etc. It's like having a crystal ball for your marketing strategy, except you don't have a crystal ball. And then finally, I could talk about attribution modeling. With solutions like Adobe Marketing Cloud, businesses can accurately track the impact of each marketing touch point in a customer journey, and they ensure that all the resources are optimally allocated, and that the campaign is effective. It's a little
Right.
long one answer, but I wanted to make sure I give you the entire entire gamut of how Adobe helps in this.
No, I think you use some very important sort of, I mean, we use the word holy grail, and clearly these are some of the key pillars on which that is built. And, crystal ball gazing, I think that's the dream of all marketers. But, having said that, all of these solutions, and these are very important solutions, and companies can't do without them, especially in this very complex world. But having said that, Yati, everybody is looking at the returns on investments because all these solutions come at a cost. So, given the fact that a lot of analytics, a lot of it is actually driven by data and data-driven, strategies, how can we really make that linkage between investing in some of these strategies and the returns from them?
Okay. See, I think, and I speak from my experience as doing this marketing for a number of years, right? For me, as a B2B marketer, my return is based on three separate pillars. I have revenue as one pillar, which is the most easiest thing to measure, right? How much money or how much revenue can I actually earn from any of the campaigns that I'm running, the spend that I've done on it? What is my return on investment on that? That's one clear picture. But there are the underlying and intangible benefits that I'm looking at way more closely now, which is recognition and relations. So if I'm able to build campaigns and run campaigns which can sort of give me returns across these three axes, one of them being revenue, which is the ultimate result that you'd be aiming for, and then you have your relationships, right? How many relationships can you be building within a certain customer that we have? How many more touch points can we build with those customers? How much more we're able to convert them from being convert them to being our champions? And then in lastly, how much recognition are we able to get? How is your brand expanding? How is your brand being known better across the ecosystem that you're working for? These three key sort of a trifecta, if I may call it that. A trifecta is sort of what is formed, and at the end of it, all of these are fed by smaller metrics around the number of website visitors, number of social media likes, how much you're doing on, say, your cost per lead across different channels. In fact, we were doing reviews and we have benchmarks all over the place for how much money we're spending to get each lead, how much how many interactions do we want, what our click-through rates should be on some of the campaigns that we're running, what our open rates on emails should be. Emails have become, again, decreasingly, lesser preferred modes of communications over the past few years, but then still relevant, right? I mean, you still need to be able to get in front of your audience. So yeah, again, to cut the chase short, I think the simple thing is, if I can just focus on these three pillars, being revenue recognition and relationships, I think I'm able to capture almost every other activity that I'm doing under my marketing umbrella.
Right. In fact, let's toss that across. There you heard it, Sandeep, revenue recognition and relationships. How can some of the solutions that you just spoke to us about, you touched a little bit about, building some of those relationships, but, how do you really help, especially with the help of, for instance, automation, to really deliver on all these three aspects?
I see firsthand the incredible impact of our marketing automation tools that have on businesses, throughout the country. Today we have a hyper competitive landscape, streamlining campaigns, nurturing leads, etc. Uh, and they are no longer luxuries, but they are critical imperatives if you want to drive your revenue and growth, right? So I'll just lay a little bit of a landscape, and then I can talk about the automation. So imagine a world where you automate repetitive tasks, right? Like email drip campaigns, social media scheduling, what have you. Then you segment your audience based on precise data points, delivering personalized content, and subsequently you nurture the leads through automated workflows, guiding them seamlessly through the buyer's journey until they finally convert, which is where you see your ROI, right? So now this is the reality businesses can unlock with Adobe's comprehensive marketing automation. Right. So let's first talk about streamlining campaigns. You automate mundane tasks, as I said, email, lead scoring, social media posting, what have you. Then you design multi-channel campaigns that seamlessly flow through your emails and social media. And then you monitor the campaign performance in real time with advanced Adobe Analytics and adjust them in real time to maximize the impact of your effort. Next, let's talk about what you said, the lead nurturing, right? Uh, Hyper personalization. You leverage AI and machine learning to segment your audience based on finer data points. Again, deliver personalized content. You automate nurturing workflows. You create dynamic workflows that guide these through the buyer's journey. And then you can have targeted emails, offers, content based on their engagement and their digital behavior. Finally, lead scoring and prioritization, right? So you identify high potential leads with intelligent lead scoring, allowing the sales team to focus on the efforts on the most promising prospects, right? So I'll give you a few examples how this has been used in the industry without naming names, which I'm not allowed to, of course. An e-commerce giant, they leverage Adobe Marketo to engage in personalized product recommendation, and they triggered email campaigns based on real-time browsing. This resulted in, I think, 20% increase in their conversion rate. I remember distinctly there's a lead travel agency that used Adobe Campaign to automate cross-channel marketing campaigns based on the traveling preference of the user. That led to a 35% increase in holiday package bookings. And if I was to think of a different sector, yeah, automobile. We have an automobile manufacturer that used Adobe Experience Cloud to deliver personalized content across different channels, different digital touch points. And that resulted in, I think, almost a 15% increase in lead generation for new car launches. So you see how basically, not only, we talk about it, but there is empirical data to prove that.
Yati, I'm going to take this across to you. Same question goes across to you. What has worked for you when it comes to some of those campaigns? Share with us some examples.
Sure. I think this goes back a couple of years when we were facing right after COVID. Some of the industries that were most badly hit was travel, and we had solutions in the company I was working for, where it was more about touchless, contactless travel solutions for customers, and there was a specific product or a specific solution built around it. Now, in addition to everything that Sandeep just mentioned around creating an automated workflow for email campaigns, so taking in inputs from the social media campaign for the same, and then creating drip emails, etc. We added a layer of intent data, which is one of the most key insights. I think this was something that really changed the game for us. We brought in insights from another tool, which was again integrated with Marketo for us, and it helped us identify exactly what sort of searches that a persona is making. Certain people within the industry, or certain people within a customer account were making, and we were able to really push our agenda by giving them very, very hyper personalized content around it, which was interactive in nature, and also leading to them really getting the interest peak. So the kind of conversions that we saw on that, I don't want to really quote numbers on this forum, sadly, but it was significantly higher than any of the other campaigns that we were running at the same time, be it for any of the other industries. So this was just one of the examples how automation has been able to really provide us with that one platform where all we doing today is ensuring that the right kind of content is available, and the segmentation and targeting is everything that we can drive on our end. But from the platform that we get from the insights that we get from Adobe and Marketo, and the other systems that we connect into Marketo, I think we're able to really get to our customer base much quickly. A lot of conversations leads. We've done pumped up right very recently. We went from 2 to 3 leads per month to almost 5x of that on a certain campaign, only because of the fact that we were able to drive this through really being able to segment our audience much better. The key to everything
Right,
is finding the right content for the right audience. And as
right.
Sandeep mentioned, a platform like Adobe is where you're getting a lot of that intelligence.
Okay, and that layer of analytics, because if I may say so, Sandeep, coming back to these efforts, and the whole effort at automation and using these tools, it's a crowded market. Every company is trying to sort of vie for the same share of the pie, the attention of the same customer, who is being bombarded with a lot of hyper personalized content. So what does success look like? I mean, how do you help companies in really measuring the effectiveness of a campaign? Is it purely in the sense of generating, for instance, the customer leads, or is it something much more? What would be those KPIs that you offer and help companies to really judge whether they've hit that sweet spot?
So I'm actually really glad you asked this question, because this is something that we take real pride in, and we have our customer success team, wherein we spell this out to our customers. So to answer a question, we believe in a couple of really good KPIs. The first one is your customer acquisition cost, right? I think that is probably one of the biggest costs today. I was at an event and I was talking to a relative of mine who runs an e-commerce company, and he said that they only sell on marketplaces because this metric tells us how much it costs you to acquire a customer, right? We track and analyze this across channels and campaigns to optimize your budgets and obviously maximize the ROI. So Adobe's Marketing Cloud attribution modeling, for example, helps you pinpoint the precise contribution of each touch point to the conversion journey, and obviously then it ensures efficient resource allocation. Second KPI we go by is the lead generation and conversion rates. Generating qualified leads, nurturing them into loyal customers is like the lifeblood of any campaign. So we monitor the lead volume, conversion rates from the lead to the MQL, the marketing qualified lead, and then the SQL, that is a sales qualified lead, ultimately to the conversion. And this all is done to gauge the effectiveness of our nurturing efforts.
So, Yati, I'm going to ask you to react to what Sandeep just said, because clearly this is of great help to a company such as Infogain. But, do you employ similar KPIs when you measure the effectiveness of a campaign?
Absolutely, More recently, I think I can sort of quote an example. We had this content campaign which we were running very recently around generative AI, right? We are some of the metrics that you're looking at definitely in a company like Infogain, where we are lesser known than any other most of our competitors. What we're going after is how many people can we reach. At the same time, keeping a very good handle on the kind of money that we are spending on that campaign, so that the cost of acquisition of a certain lead is capped. And all of that although many factors determine what it is that your campaign outcomes would be like, I think some of the details that we sort of dived into beforehand have really helped make that campaign really well. So I was just reviewing it earlier this week, and I think we're looking at benchmarks of around $300 to $500 for the cost per lead for a campaign of this sort. But in having done our homework, having gotten our segment right, having gotten our audience right, and then really getting our creatives well placed, we've been able to do this at under $200. So if you look at something, those benchmarks, I think it's important that a tool like Marketo plays the kind of uh, the sort of role that a tool like Marketo plays. It becomes very important because that's where all of your insights reside. You know where your people are searching. You know what they're searching for. You know what are the kind of ads they're liking. You know, we keep that going as well. We keep a good tally of what kind of creatives are doing the best. And if you put all of those insights together and run a campaign, I think you're it's more science than an art at this point of time. So it really gives you the kick that you're looking for.
So Yati, I mean, hearing about the effectiveness of this these new tools, especially generative AI, of course, is the next sort of cutting edge solution that everybody is exploring and trying to decipher and see how it'll fit into their business. One almost wonders, does one really need a CMO anymore, a chief marketing officer? Is it all going to be replaced by automation? I mean, what's your sort of prediction? Do you feel that? That a lot of this content and generation will start shifting more and more into the automation space?
That's a fun question for someone who's on a marketing team. No, I don't see my job being taken away by a robot yet, just yet. I think we're still far away from Skynet. It's not going to be it's not going to be in the near future. As of right now, these language models are developing. I think there's a lot that's still being done on the back end. We are seeing great improvements in the kind of output that Jasper and ChatGPT and all of these tools are giving us. However, Paramita, I think that. You still have to give it a lot of input and be able to understand the scenario before we start asking for help. Yes, we can take. I think increasingly, even I'm not going to lie, we are taking help across the industry in terms of the mundane tasks that we're doing. But when it comes to key functions like communications, right? And communications cannot be today left alone to say a bot to write for you. You have to literally get into the mindset of the people and understand them really well, and then use that intelligence that you have from empathy and the empathy that you have to sort of build the kind of communications you want. Be it the messaging that you want to give out to people. None of those will be possible at this for the foreseeable future without having a smart, an able CMO sitting with you and driving that strategy. So
Right.
yes, buzzwords are cool. Technology is really cool. I think we've gone through cycles of these, right? I mean, this is not the first time. We've gone through cycles of this when machines and automated machinery came on. Labor was all around. How do you save jobs for them? But then they reskill, they upskill. I think this is giving us another opportunity to upskill and reskill ourselves. We're getting better as marketeers, thinking better and not having to sit down and spend a lot of time around doing some of the mundane tasks like writing or getting emails written or notes written or communications written. I think that's where we're headed at this point, rather than taking out the CMO role.
Right. And I think you've made a great point that essentially this leaves or frees up your time and
Yeah.
effort and energy into building more of the high end, the strategic stuff instead of getting caught in the mundane tasks which are being taken over. But let's talk a little bit. You mentioned the pandemic, when we started this conversation, and somehow perhaps during that time, and correct me if I'm wrong, perhaps it was somewhat easier because the online world became omnipresent. Now you have the offline and the online, and the offline People want to be there in person, and clearly those are different kinds of interactions and customer leads, I'm assuming, you generate, as opposed to the online world. So would you say, Yati, that one needs to have a sort of uh, a differentiated strategy in order to straddle both these worlds, because the customer is moving in and out of both of these worlds?
Uh, I think it is necessary. One has to have a very hybrid strategy in place. The touch points are different, but I think Paramita, one the key now is to ensure that there's an omni-channel experience, right? So you have to be able to merge the experience that you're giving your customers or your audience in the offline world with what they're getting on the online world as well, and that's where they see that seamless sort of connectivity happening. So increasingly, where we are going, say for trade shows and events of that sort, where we are looking to meet our customers, or we're conducting these one-off events, account events, where we're sitting and just taking our customers out for say a game or whatever it is. In addition to all of those, we also need to be present with when they are on their mobile phones or LinkedIn or any other channels where they're able to see more about business that they're doing, read more about what the kind of technology is emerging in the world, and they need to have insights and content from, say, a company like Infogain at eye level. So it's yes, the touch points although might differ, but there is a convergence that we'll see, and we are seeing that increasingly, that the experience has to be across everything, has to be very similar to each other. So I mean, the effort, I think, goes into that direction now. How do you merge those two rather than creating silos of those experiences in the offline and online world?
Right, and some great points there. In fact, but let me delve a little deeper into the online world, and especially, you mentioned e-commerce as an example a little while earlier. You know, driving digital first sales, is that somewhat easier? I mean, in the sense that what would be the strategies that one would evolve in order to really drive those kind of sales on an e-commerce platform, for instance? How would these
Mhm.
solutions help?
Um, I have a limited understanding of this, to be honest with you, because I've worked mostly in the B2B space. So it's more, sales folks going and shaking hands with your customers, and that's where most of the sales happen. But and what I've seen and what I've heard and spoken to people about, I think the digital touchpoints are becoming extremely important for your e-commerce sales, right? I mean, you need to be able to uh, uh, you need to be present exactly at the point in time when the need arises. The buyer's decision of making those purchases, be it even if it's most not just impulse purchases, but also need-based purchases, right? You have to be available right there, right then, when the buyer needs it. So you had examples of the tight button, or the Amazon sort of, Amazon giving you those signals that you'd almost be running out of your, say, your shampoo at home or your cereal in your kitchen. And those are the kind of signals now that people are looking for increasingly, so that they don't forget. It's a busy world. People are tied up on day to day. You have families which are meeting, again, not even watching the same television show as we used to in the past. You have people who are watching different channels of communication throughout the day within the same set of four people, five people, families that you have, right? So how do you ensure that everyone's needs are met? A, you should be able to sell, say, a chocolate-based cereal and a muesli to the same family without having to, influence them with just one ad. How do you do that separately today? The second bit being, how do you ensure that you are there when they need that? So it comes on. At the end of the day, it all boils down to the basics, right? It's your 5P marketing, 5Ps, 4Cs. That's what you have to know where you're present, what kind of platform you're present at, and exactly what kind of price point you're able to offer. At the same time, uh, are you there when the need arises? And
Right.
platforms are key to all of that, because you have your mobile in front of you, in your hands, almost all the time. All your waking time, you have mobiles right around you. You're hardly away from digital when you're working today. Uh, it's key. It's absolutely key
And
to
you
be
have to
there.
be connected at all of these touch points, and that's where these
Absolutely.
platforms really help you. Now let's take a glimpse into the future, Yati, and what does really the future hold? Because you mentioned, for instance, you just mentioned Amazon, and the other day I just got a reminder, and it was a little eerie that, oh, you're running out of dog food. And I said, okay, that's a little too personal. I wasn't aware that it's something that information was out there. So this whole issue of data privacy, getting to know the customer too well, and we have well-known examples of all of this.
Yes.
Given these data privacy norms, and given the fact that they're getting tighter and tighter, I mean, does that sort of rein in the possibilities? What does the future look like according to you?
A very interesting question. Yes, absolutely. But I think I have a two-part answer to it, and let me put it this way, right? So data and the privacy of data is in my hands, right? So it's my hands as as a consumer. I have the option to let companies retain my data or not, and it's now again with all of the laws that are coming in, it's great that people do not have access to data as they did earlier. However, I think even without having that data, there are ways and means which you can sort of create those segments for yourself. You can really create or build or uncover those segments in your day-to-day life as a marketer. And some of that is work in progress. I've seen some examples of that. I really haven't had first-hand experience yet, although I have a sense that with cookieless browsers and data being really with people being protective about their data, uh, there is going to be another route that people will be able to target you, and it's mostly based on your other sort of activities that you're doing. I don't have a great answer at this point to you for you, because these are challenges that we are grappling with on a day-to-day basis as well. How do you ensure that you are not in front of a customer that doesn't want you in front of them? And that
Right.
kind of those kind of hurdles are what we're taking them one at a time. We're taking them as we come, as we come to the bridge. We crossed it when we get there. But yeah, I mean, a very valid concern. We're going to be seeing more of these as we go forward. uh, I think marketing will evolve. I'm sure it will evolve. I'm sure digital touchpoints will evolve in a much more friendly manner, without being intrusive. Which at which to a certain extent I feel it's happening at the moment. But so we can take a step back, I feel.
Right. And just to bring up Yati's point, in terms of the post-pandemic world, the customer, while you are tracking him or her quite closely with the help of all these analytics and getting a sense of your target audience, but now you have the offline world to also navigate. In that sense, do tools and solutions offered by Adobe help integrate the offline and online inputs? Because you mentioned that you really help companies in collating all these various touch points. How do you do that?
Uh, Again, that's a very interesting point, and we have a lot of tools. In fact, our latest addition to our portfolio is CJA, Customer Journey Analytics, which precisely helps you to stitch the online and the offline world. What we do is we create customer data profiles for all the clients, be it online or offline, be it logged in, not logged in, etc., through any one unique identifier. Most often, either a phone number, or if you're online, maybe a Mac ID or whatever, we identify. And then when these similar clients or the same clients come on offline, we make sure that we tie them to the online profile, make one unified profile. And that profile is not just an identity, but it's also your behavioral pattern. And with the help of that, then your journeys and your campaigns can be decided. You can segment them into different segments depending on your behavioral pattern. And then you can decide which segment is to be targeted with which campaign.
Right. And I'm sure that's a very powerful tool. Let's delve a little deeper and about the online world, and especially in the context of digital sales. And it's become an even more competitive market. How do brands really maximize in terms of connecting with the customer and having those kind of conversions that they're seeing on the digital aspect, especially when it comes to their e-commerce sales?
Now, Adobe Commerce is kind of a game changer for businesses that are looking to bridge the gap between marketing and e-commerce. What we do in Adobe Commerce. First of all, we unify data and insights. Like, imagine having a single source of truth for all your marketing and your e-commerce data. That's what we call the 360 view, right? And Adobe Experience Cloud delivers that. It seamlessly integrates the Adobe Commerce, uh, the interactions, the journey, etc. And then this unified data, it kind of uh, provides the fuel for the personalized marketing campaigns and the product recommendations. And that's when you get the higher conversion rates and of course happier customers. Second is the personalized shopping experiences. Uh, with Adobe Commerce, you have tools like Adobe Target. Target is nothing but personalization. And when we say personalization at Adobe, we mean personalization at scale, PAS, and that has been a mantra for the last couple of years. So you can personalize the online shopping experience of every customer, every time, on every channel. So if Paramita, goes on her phone, she goes via some other medium, she goes on a laptop, she goes by an app, she goes to a browser, doesn't matter. She has the same experience throughout everywhere, and it can be personalized. If I was very interested in dirt bikes, and I was browsing Seat Tires website, and I typed in that I need to see tires for a dirt bike, and I basically left it over there. Something happened. I went back to some other medium. I went back to search, just basically say for tires. Guess what? The system knows it's me. It shows me dirt bike tires. It maybe gives me some options to go for some rallies, etc. It maybe even tells me that it's time for me to change my tires because I've not been at least shopping online for tires for quite some time. Uh, and of course, a very critical point is the automation, right, for increased efficiency. Adobe Marketo Engage, it seamlessly integrates with Adobe Commerce. So that's why you can automate email campaigns, triggered promotions, lead nurturing, etc. So this frees up your marketing team and to focus on more strategic initiatives, while driving direct sales. Those basically can be driven on autopilot, right? Uh, so in say in the context of giving some examples, there's a leading Indian beauty brand that saw around 30% increase in their online sales after they implemented Adobe Commerce. There's a furniture company, an e-commerce giant, that achieved 20% conversion rate improvement after they started using Adobe Target along with Adobe Commerce. Finally, I can think of a big watchmaker, without telling you the name. Uh, they streamline their omni-channel customer journey by connecting their online stores, to answer your question earlier, with Adobe Commerce, and that's why they were able to achieve much better results.
Wow, those are some powerful examples. But Sandeep, it's just it's getting a little there's a very fine line between crossing the boundaries of privacy, and we're seeing governments around the world really cracking down when it comes to data privacy. So moving forward, how are you sort of balancing these concerns of data privacy and really protecting the privacy of a customer, and while at the same time being able to connect and really convert and deliver on the kind of performances that companies are looking at?
All right, so I'm going to break down that question in two parts. One, I'm going to talk about the governance, and then about the data-centric solutions. Obviously, governance is at the heart of Adobe solutions. In fact, every presentation that any Adobe rep makes to anybody across the world, there is a layer of governance at the bottom of the slide. It's very important. Data privacy is very important to us. We follow all the rules across the world, be it HIPAA in the US, be it GDPR in Europe, etc. And we have more and more regulations coming to India now. So we make sure that the customers' PII is protected to the core, right? And we take the onus of that. Uh, Now coming to data-centric solutions, data is not just at the heart of a solution, but it's a very bedrock of our missions, our solutions, what have you. So what do we do and how do we do it? First of all, we do data democratization. We break down the data into silos, unify information from across different sources, And then, not just the marketing team, but every department can use that, and it helps them out. Secondly, we use AI and machine learning as our guiding lights. So to make sure that it's always cutting edge technology and the solution is always getting better. Third, as I told you before, we do real-time optimization through analytics. Uh, Basically, Adobe Analytics offers real-time campaign performances, insights, etc., and you can maximize your ROI by that. And last, again, I think I've already told you about attribution modeling. That really helps with all the data that you have over there. So I hope I
That's
was
a
able to
fascinating
answer that.
insight. No, that's really fascinating about how companies such as yourself are really trying to balance and walk this tightrope, given the higher sort of vigilance and controls which are there, but at the same time delivering on those analytics. So let's talk a little bit about the future trends, Sandeep, and where you see the current solutions heading towards. One part of the conversation, and that was prominent, in fact. It started off the year is generative AI. I mean, we are getting to know about it a little more, but what role do you see it playing when it comes to marketing solutions and digitization going forward? And of course, what are the other trends that companies and customers can look forward to?
I think you said it, Paramita, generative AI. That is the name of the game. Uh, I don't think anybody can afford right now, any industry, any solution to not have AI in their solutions. That's one thing. Obviously, Adobe's been a leader, and we always, are on the top right quadrant of the Gartner Gartner quadrant. Uh, Basically, what we've done is we've taken our Creative Cloud capabilities and put them into our Experience Cloud. What I mean when I say that is, our latest offering was Adobe Firefly, and I'm sure you've got a chance to play around with that, which is basically generating images by just typing in basically a text, and you're generating something. Let's think of the current solutions and how and what do marketers do. If I am a marketer and I want to figure out what was the sale of this one product in Northeast India for the people ranging between 18 and 25 in the months of October, November, December. For me to go in the system and to find a particular report which gives me this may not be easy, right? It may take me some time. It may probably take me a couple of hours or maybe even a day to go and exactly find this data. Come Gen AI, which will be integrated into all our products very, very shortly. I type this exact string, give me the results of this product or the trends of this product in Northeast India in the months of October, November, December for people between 18 and 25, and boom, within seconds you have the report ready. So think about the efficiency through Gen AI, right? You cannot not have this in your products, and we have already announced in our summit this year and last year that Gen AI will be an integral part of all our experience solutions going forward. There you have it.
Right. And I think that's a separate conversation that we need to have when it comes to the power of Gen AI and how brands can really leverage that. But for now, we've completely run out of time. Yati, Hemat Singha, and Sandeep Jain, it's been such an illuminating conversation about the challenges that marketers face, but at the same time, the kind of solutions which are being offered to really help harness the power of digitization and deliver and acquire those customers. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Adobe and CNBC TV18 present Experience Makers. Thank you to our audience as well for tuning in.
CNBC TV18, Adobe present Experience Makers.